Good morning, everyone. Today's Friday, August 28th. It's the memorial of St. Augustine, Bishop and Doctor of the Church. And I'll talk a little bit more about him in a few moments. We'll do more of a saint of the day today because it kind of pairs nicely with yesterday's memorial of St. Monica, his mother. St. Augustine, we get kind of these back-to-back family saint celebrations. But just a reminder of our weekend schedule, the same weekend schedule that we've been following since we've been back. So we do have confessions starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow here at St. John the Baptist. So confessions at St. John's tomorrow from 3 to 4:15, then Mass at 4:30 here at St. John's. And then on Sunday, we have confessions at St. Michael's in the back of church from 8 to 8:30. And then Mass is at 8:45 on Sunday morning at St. Michael's. And then there's a Sunday Mass at 10:30 here at St. John the Baptist. So that's our weekend schedule. As I mentioned yesterday, that when we celebrated the memorial of St. Monica, that our information about her comes from her son, St. Augustine, whom she prayed and cried for his conversion for many, many years. And so these two saints we're talking about the 390s into the early 400s for St. Augustine. So this is the very end of the 4th century and the beginning of the 5th century. So very early on in the church. But St. Augustine was born in North Africa. His family was from North Africa. But he did move to Rome, and he kind of involved himself in all of the worldly pleasures. As it said, he was living a dissolute life. That word might sound familiar from the prodigal son parable that Jesus tells in Luke's gospel, where the younger son takes all of his inheritance and wastes it on dissolute living. So St. Augustine was very enthralled with all of the, all the pleasures that the Roman Empire at that time could provide. But eventually, he has his conversion experience. He's baptized by St. Ambrose, and then becomes the Bishop of Hippo. He is well known for some of his writings. His most famous writings are, first of all, the Confessions, which is kind of a spiritual autobiography, is how it's sometimes described, but it's a Christian classic, the Confessions of St. Augustine, and that's where much of the information about St. Monica, his mother, comes from. Also, too, City of God, kind of his understanding of, I think, probably bringing God into public life, or into the setup of society. But City of God is another classic Christian text that's authored by St. Augustine. I think we have probably 500 homilies of his. So a lot of his writings are very available and are, again, classics of the Christians. He's Christian faith. He's a doctor of the church. He's considered one of the 4 great doctors of the Western or the Latin church, with St. Ambrose, with St. Gregory the Great, and with St. Jerome. We have 4 that are classified as these doctors of the early church, or the 4 great doctors, kind of, and they're from the early church. Now they're not. Augustine is one of those. He's known as the Doctor of Grace. Another kind of famous attribute for his was his dealing with heresies at the time. So let's see all the different ones: the Donatists, the Manichees, and the Pelagians. So he took them on. He has that title, Doctor of the Church, but also he's known as the Doctor of Grace. He gives us a great kind of theological understanding of the grace of God. So St. Augustine's one of the biggies, and I think it's very nice that yesterday we celebrated his mother, St. Monica. So it's a great reminder to us that God uses all kinds to spread the gospel. St. Augustine being probably one of the greater minds in the history of the church, and used that very well to help spread the gospel. And so 1,600 years later, we're still learning from the things that he wrote, and still edified by his spiritual insights and his teachings. So we want to ask for his intercession and protection this day, and hopefully everybody has a wonderful day. Maybe this is the last of our really hot and humid days. It sounds like we might get some less humid and more temperate weather, but hopefully everyone's doing well and can stay cool and stay comfortable. And let's continue to keep an eye on each other and pray for each other. And may God bless you abundantly this day. Everybody have a great day, everyone.